I need to call it to order first. Do I need to call it
Call to order first?
Yeah, call to order first.
Test.
Yes. You call order and then do the other. Whatever's on the agenda. Okay.
Good. All right. Good evening. The scheduled meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of Howe is called to order at 5:35 p.m. There is quorum present. On the agenda, first we've got the swearing in of the new officers. Court Myrick, Mike Zagleski, Sharon Carroll, and Cassie Montgomery. Here.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. In the name, repeat after me, please. In the name and by the authority of
In the name and by the authority of
the state of Texas,
the state of Texas,
I, Court Myrick,
I, Court Myrick,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of the City of Howe,
of the City of Howe,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will do the best
and will do the best
of my ability,
of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you, congratulations, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Let me have you sign this real quick, Court, and we're just right there. Mike, Mike, raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. In the name and by the authority of
In the name and by the authority of
the state of
the
Texas,
state of Texas,
I, Mike Zaleski,
I, Mike Zagleski,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of
the duties of
the Planning and Zoning Commission
the Planning and Zoning Commission
of the City of Howe,
of the City of Howe,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will do the best of my
and
ability
will do to the best of my ability
to preserve,
to preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United
of
States
the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations and thank you for serving. You will just give me the signature real quick. Sharon? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I, Sharon Carroll, do solemnly swear that I will
Moving on to item number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon a planning and zoning board vice president. So, open for discussion on the matter. Anybody?
Vice President is just runs meeting when President is unavailable. What's that? General Board?
Essentially.
Okay. Any other P and Z members here have experience with board meetings of this type?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Oh, I would like for you to do that.
Okay. Well, then you'll have to make a nomination for that.
Okay, I motion that we approve Court for Vice President.
Okay, have a motion, have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mike. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 3 on the agenda, discuss, consider, and act upon a planning and zoning board secretary. Discussion on the matter.
Who wants to have their secondary signature on all these plats is the question. So,
What are the other duties or roles assigned to that?
well, we have city secretary here, and then in general board meetings, the secretary would keep a track of the minutes and what the motions are and what carries. So just kind of note keeper and recording how all the votes went. So it's just kind of a matter of who's comfortable doing that.
I don't mind doing that if
Okay.
anybody else.
Then I'll make a motion to nominate Cassie for the Planning and Zoning Board Secretary.
Okay, motion for Cassie. Is there a second?
A second.
Got a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Item number 4, discuss, consider, and act upon the recommendation to the City Council for the request to approve the Connections Park Addition preliminary plat being lots 1 and 2, Block A, consisting of plus or minus 13.472 acres of land situated in the WA Park Survey, abstract number 925, City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, and generally located on the north side of FM 902 at Enlow Road, City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas.
James Tidwell, City Attorney. So on this particular matter, we are still working out some items on the preliminary plat. And so what we're going to request to do is to take no action on this particular item, or you can table it either way you prefer. But go ahead and call item number 5 because that has been reviewed and approved by the city engineer who's also here. But we've got a lot of paperwork that's been going on. This relates to the park and several other agreements. And so in the shuffle, we've still got some things that we need to work out on the preliminary plat. That's a different document than the final plat. And so, jumping ahead to 5, we would ask that you take no action on 4, but go ahead and approve item 5. It's basically the final plat showing the park property and making dedications of roads and easements and things like that, which then gets filed and allows the construction and other things to proceed. If you have any questions, we're both here. If not, we can just move on.
All right, so take no action on 4. Right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, number 5, I need to read the whole thing again. Discuss and consider an act upon the recommendation of the City Council to request to approve the Connections Park additional final plat being lots 1 and 2, Block A, consisting of plus or minus 13.472 acres of the land situated in the WA Park Survey, abstract number 925, City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, generally located on the north side of FM 902 at Enlow Road, City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas. All right, any discussion on that one? Question?
Is the plat actually drawn up on Mylar and ready to file? Is that why we're going forward, or is it just to get the approval before they print it out?
24 by 36 of this plat yet. They haven't brought in their full-size copy ready for filing yet.
Okay.
This is just authorizing the signature.
Authorizing it, and
They
then-
certainly will soon, though.
Board members will come down to the city office and sign off on the Mylar when it's done?
Yes, staff will coordinate with who needs to come up and schedule the appropriate time.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? All right.
Uh,
Go ahead.
Then I make a motion to approve the plat.
Okay, got a motion to approve. Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, 5 seconds. All in favor? Any opposed? No? Okay. Motion carries. All right, that concludes the agenda items. We'll will adjourn the meeting at 5:45 PM. Thank y'all.
try not to take notes. Try just to listen.
Hey, Court,
Union State Sheriff.
for a very similar blue polo shirt and my pink shorts.
That's what that is, okay.
Hey, sir,
I took
how are
my
you?
work clothes off and I pulled my drawer out and I was like, oh, I haven't worn these pink ones in a while. I was like, nah, it's fall, I can't wear pink. We'd have been twins.
You can't wear pink and fall? Is that a rule?
I don't know if it's a rule, but your husband and I were damn near pants. Exact same color shirt.
That would have been a picture to keep.
He runs a fall baseball team.
That's exactly. There's nothing to argue about.
Call the meeting to order. There being a quorum present, this special session of the Howe City Council is hereby called to order on Thursday, September 28, 2023 at 6 p.m. under the Open Meetings Act of the state of Texas. Before we begin, please remove your caps and silence your cell phones. Thank you. Please stand for the prayer and the pledges. Councilman Rodney Huff will lead us.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for allowing us the freedom to come together and to determine what the citizens of this city want. Lord, help us to use judgment and wisdom. Be with us, Lord, as we discuss this and remind us that we are among friends. Help us, dear God, to seek your will in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And now for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for the Texas flag. The Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Thank you. Please be seated. The City Council invites citizens to speak to the council on topics not already scheduled for public hearing or on the agenda. Citizens may address the council for a maximum of 2 minutes. The council is unable to respond to or discuss any issues that are brought up under this section that are not on the agenda, other than to make a statement of specific factual information in response to a citizen's inquiry or to recite existing policy in response to the inquiry. Do we have anyone that has a public comment? I did not receive any public comment forms. Okay, then we will move on to action items. Resolution number 2023-0005, a resolution of the City of Howe, Texas, naming October 5, 2023 as Teachers' Day to encourage members of the community to personally express appreciation to the teachers of Howe ISD and to display of blue ribbons outside of homes and businesses during the week of October 5, 2023. With this being a resolution, we will now open up comments for a public hearing for anyone that'd like to speak on this resolution. Do we have anyone in the audience that wants to speak? Okay. If we do not have anyone, then we will end the public hearing and return to regular session. So we have item number 1, discuss, consider, and act upon resolution number 2023-0005 to declare October 5th as City of Howe Teachers' Day. Additionally, there needs to be a change in the resolution number to 2023-0006. Does the council want to discuss this item? Okay. Do I have a motion to declare October 5th as City of Howe Teachers' Day and to change the resolution number to 2023-0006?
I'll make a motion.
Sarah makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Michael, all in favor? Everyone, anyone opposed? None opposed. Moving on to ordinance number 806, an ordinance of the City of Howe, Texas, adopting the budget for the City of Howe, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30, 2024, providing for the intra and inter-department and fund transfers, and declaring an effective date. This budget will raise more total property taxes than last year's budget by $204,176, and of that amount, $18,831.43 is tax revenue to be raised from the new property added to the tax roll this year. We will now open this up to a public hearing, allowing members of the public to speak. Do we have anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this matter? Okay. Since we have no one asking to speak, we will end the public hearing and return to regular session. Item number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon ordinance number 804 to adopt the budget for the City of Howe, Texas for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2023 and ending September 30, 2024. Does the council wish to discuss this item?
Mayor, you just said ordinance number 804, is it not 806?
I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize.
Okay.
It is ordinance 806.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We had talked in a previous meeting about making an amendment to the budget to cover the equipment purchase for the Public Works Department. Is that reflected in the budget that's here?
No, that'll be a budget amendment after we pass this.
Okay. Awesome.
Any other discussion from the council? Do I have a motion to approve the ordinance 806?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Michael, this item has to be a roll call vote. When I call your name, please state your vote by saying yay or nay when called upon.
So you get a second.
I'll second.
Do I need to have a second? I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Rodney's gonna second. My apologies. All right. So now I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Myrick?
Yes.
Mr. Ingram?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. We will now move on to ordinance 807, an ordinance of the City of Howe, Texas, leveling property taxes for the use and support of the municipal government of the city of Howe, Texas for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. A tax of $0.436126 on each $100 valuation of property for the purpose of maintenance and operations, and a tax of $0.093874 on each $100 valuation of property for the purpose of interest and sinking on bonds and certificates of obligation. We will now open this up to a public hearing, allowing members of the public to speak on this ordinance. Does anyone from the public wish to speak? Okay. So since we do not have anyone, oh, yes, ma'am. If we object or change your minds on how much the children is in taxes. Does the council want to,
I mean, I would like to hear you.
would you mind?
I'd like to hear
coming up?
what you have to say.
Well, I just think our tax base is too high. And it's just weird. It's causing everybody not to be able to pay their rent or buy groceries and stuff like that. So if we could get it down just a little bit, that would be helpful. That's all I. Thank you, ma'am. Do any of our council members, or Mr. Walker, anything? Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Let me,
Yes, sir.
let me address your concern. We've had several public hearings to address this issue in the past. There's nothing we can do to change it now. Next year, around August or September, we'll start having other meetings for the tax rate. That's when you need to appear. Well, they're published, they're posted like they're supposed to be. They're in the paper and they're posted at City Hall like they're supposed to be. I know next year obviously is a long time off, but you need to make your concerns known probably starting in August. You need to watch out for those posted meetings, and then the council can hear you and they can take that time stuff into consideration. I'll tell you what, surely somebody who's here next September will make it a point to let you know when those meetings are gonna be.
Well, I was thinking maybe, like a letter to the voters of Howe. It wouldn't be very expensive to send out an email, or even an email. So, to clarify, you're suggesting the city of Howe sends out a letter to inform citizens of the tax change, of the tax rate? That's what I would suggest. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Does anyone else from the audience wish to speak on that matter? All right. We will end our public hearing and return into regular session, which brings us to item number 3, discuss, consider, and act on ordinance number 807 of the City of Howe, Texas, leveling property taxes for use and support of municipal government of the City of Howe, Texas for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Does the council wish to discuss this item anymore? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Sarah, do I have a second?
I will second.
Billy? All right. We need to do a roll call on this as well. Mr. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Myrick?
Yes.
Mr. Ingram?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 808, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Howe, Texas to amend Chapter 6, Section 1, entitled Sanitation Service, and repealing ordinance number 800, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for an amendment to the rate schedule. We're gonna need to do a public hearing, but does Mr. Walker, are you?
Go ahead.
Okay. We have to do a public hearing on this ordinance. Is there anyone from the public that wish to speak on this matter? Okay, we will end the public hearing and return to regular session. Mr. Walker?
Mayor, council, ordinance number 800, which was passed earlier in the year, had a typo on it, and it did have some figures as far as the yard containers that were incorrect because we're being charged more than what we're passing along to the customer. So the adjustments, the typo is in A on residential rates. It was 1942. It was supposed to be 1442. We have been charging that amount to the customers, so that is only just a clerical update. There's a $7.78 fee below that should be $5.94. So those are just clerical items. There's an addition in the commercial rates. It should also be I'm sorry, it was $5.94, it should be $7.78, I'm sorry. And the same way on the commercial rates, $7.78 fee per month for each additional cart. Now, under B, under 1, the 3-yard container 2 times a week, instead of, I believe it was $158.38, it should be $180.38. And right under that, instead of $109.30, it should be $120.30. And the 4th one down, instead of $196.18, should be $215.18. One other adjustment, not on this document, is I learned today that our bar and lock fee, we're getting charged over $12, whereas we're only passing that along to the commercial customer at $7.42. So that needs to be raised to an even flat $14 so that we can make up for cost. We only have 5 commercial vendors that'll be affected by this, but that is cost that we need to pass along.
Thank you. Does the council wish to further discuss this item? Oh, excuse me, I have to call for it. Item number 4, discuss, consider, and act upon ordinance number 808 of the City of Howe, Texas, repealing ordinance number 800 involving an amendment to the rate schedule and the amendment of the $14 lock fee. Does the council wish to discuss this item? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Rodney, do we have a second? Second. Billy? All those in favor? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make sure that the motion was also to include the additional amendment to cover the lock fee.
Yes, sir. Yes, and the amendment of the $14 lock fee. So we had a motion by Rodney, a second by Billy. All in favor again, please? Yes. Any opposed? None opposed. Thank you. We're going to move on to notice of executive session. The City Council will convene in closed session pursuant to the provisions of an Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, executive session as authorized by the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, consultation with attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rule of professional conduct and the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter, Open Meetings Act, Section 551.072, deliberation regarding real property. Discussion items are Saddleback Development property, park property, tennis courts, and related documents, Howe Commercial LTD Development Agreement, real estate matters. The council will now go into executive session, and the time is 6:16 p.m.
Yeah.
We will now return to open session. The time is 7:27 PM. We will reconvene into regular session and consider action, if any, on the items discussed in executive session. Action item number 1, discuss, consider, and act upon Park Development Agreement, Saddleback. I recommend to the council that we table this item since the documents are not ready. Does the council wish to discuss this item?
I'll make a motion to table the item.
Sarah, do we have a second?
I will second that.
Billy? All in favor? Everyone, anyone opposed? None opposed. Thank you. Item number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon recommendation by the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding a request for approval of the Connections Park Addition final plat being lots 1 and 2, Block A, consisting of 13.472 plus or minus acres of land situated in the WA Park Survey, abstract number 925, City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas, and generally located in the north side of FM 902 of Inlow Road, City of Howe, Grayson County, Texas. Does the council wish to discuss this item? Did you need it, would you like?
Mayor, council, we
Yes.
would just point out that, that the P and Z did authorize to approve and recommend to approve, and that it would be city staff recommendation as well.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve? Rodney? A second motion?
A second.
Sarah seconds. All in favor? Everyone, anyone opposed? None opposed. Discussion item number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon Parkland Development Agreement, Saddleback, Connections Park. I recommend that we table this item since the documents are not ready yet. Does the council wish to discuss this item? Does anyone want to make a motion to table this item?
I'll make a motion.
Michael, do we have a second? Rodney? All in favor to table? Everyone, anyone opposed? None opposed. Item number 4, discuss, consider, and act upon amendment to Interlock Corporation Agreement, Howe ISD Tennis Courts. Does the council wish to discuss this item? Mr. Tidwell, do you have anything to say?
Just briefly, there was a prior interlocal agreement. This just added some additional details. It has already been approved by Howe ISD, and this relates to, again, activities that can occur at the park. So it would be staff recommendation to approve the amendment.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Billy, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Rodney, all in favor? Everyone, anyone opposed?
I
I'm
abstain.
sorry, excuse me.
I abstain.
Okay. Michael abstains. If there is no further business to come before this council, the meeting will stand adjourned at 7:31 PM. We now need to call the meeting to order for the Board of Adjustment meeting. There being a quorum present, this session of the Howe Board of Adjustment is hereby called to order on Thursday, September 28, 2023, under the Open Meetings Act of the State of Texas. The time is 7:31 PM. Current business, discuss, consider, and act upon the approval of the minutes of the meeting from May 16, 2023. The minutes were approved in June, but we need to approve them today because it was not at a board adjustment meeting. Does the council wish to discuss this item? Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Michael, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Sarah, all in favor? Everyone, anyone opposed? None opposed. Discussion number 2, or excuse, yes. Action item number 2, discuss, consider, and act upon the following variance request. Ms. Rebecca Luna has asked for a variance for the property at the corner of 109 West Duke Street, Howe, Texas. The requested change is to subdivide the 100-foot lot into two 50-foot lots wide of 125.55 foot deep. The property currently resides in Single Family 2, SF2, which is a minimum of 60 foot by 100 foot in accordance with the ordinance number 756. Would Ms. Rebecca Luna wish to speak on this item? Or anyone here for Ms. Luna? Please.
We are.
If you will speak if you'll state your name, please.
Name is Armando Nunez from Malachi 310 Construction. We've built a few houses here in the Howe area on 50-foot wide lots. And in the area, there's a lot of lots that are narrower than the 50-foot. I know that they're trying to get to the 60 feet to get a little bit wider, but this will allow for 2 homes, which will be bringing a little bit extra income to the city, and it meets all the other requirements, the setbacks, everything else is met, so it's not going to look odd in the area because it fits the other houses that are around it. And it's a nice little homes that are going to bring extra people into the area.
Does the council have any questions?
What's on the lots right now?
Vacant.
Vacant?
There used to be a house that got demolished many years
Were they
ago.
originally platted as 50-foot lots back in the old days, or do you know?
Repeat that again?
Were they originally platted as 50-foot lots back?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't have a choice if they're platted then. I make a motion to approve it.
Does the staff have any recommendation? We want to hear from the staff first, please.
Council, Mayor. I just want to remind you that a few months ago, the council denied basically the same request to Mr. Tillett. He was trying to subdivide that lot size area over there on Bean Street, Bean and Tut. While the property does reside in SF2, which was outlined as 60 foot. I think the staff's recommendation is to deny the request, consistent upon the recent similar request by Mr. Tillett on March 28, 2023. They denied that variance from C&T Construction and Roofing, and I think this opens up a big issue upon approving this when we just made a denial recently. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Does the council want to discuss this item?
Based upon Monty's information, I withdraw my motion.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion?
I remember the discussion about the Bean and Tut. Do you remember what the lot sizes were going to be at Bean and Tut?
I believe it was the same, 100 foot to 250s.
Don't worry about it.
And I think part of the discussion with Bean and Tut was the ability for the area to handle drainage and the way that the street was structured, and we had neighbors here that were very loudly against approving the variance. Did we send out letters? Is this one of the things that you send out letters and get?
We don't have to send out letters for Board of Adjustment, just planning and zoning.
Now, this is a total different street, right? I guess I misunderstood. You're talking about Bean up here, but he's talking about Duke down here, which is a total different deal.
As, it is different, and as
Just
Ms.
because that request was denied up here for other reasons doesn't factor into why we're considering this one down here. I'm either misunderstood or misheard what street it was.
Yeah,
If
this,
it's Duke Street.
this is
down here,
Duke Street. The previous one was Bean Street.
And it's right there,
It's 10,
Right at Tut, Bean and Tut. So,
no, I'm talking about Duke.
it's
Duke. This one's
109
Duke,
West
right?
Duke.
Joe, as soon as you turn on Duke, if you're going towards Duke, you turn right, it's right there, there's gonna be a couple houses there. Miss Luna used to have a house that
Right
was there, I
down there by
believe
the
that
city
house has been
barn,
removed.
the old
Right
city
between
barn.
Beatrice and Highway 5.
All right,
You said that was in March?
March
I'm
20.
looking at the public notices.
but what we're talking about now is down at Duke.
On Duke Street, yes, sir.
The one talked about in the past was up
It was
here.
right over here, Bean Street, yes, sir.
Well, I'm no longer confused.
So the denial in March only wanted to go from 60 foot to 50 foot, didn't have a depth to it. I live very close to the corner of Bean and Tut. I don't know that that lot is 125 feet deep.
This particular piece of property meets every other category within the statute. As far as the depth, it just would not meet the SF2 if you split it into 250s. That's the, and like he said, every other way it does meet. It's just the
What was
width
it?
across the front.
What was it originally platted for?
Have to go back to 1872.
I mean,
So, the original, what they call an Old Town plat, is not controlling. Those things, they call them plats, but they're not a plat. The zoning and platting statutes came in really in the 60s and the 70s, and so the Old Town plats, as they are laid out, are not controlling. So when the city came in later on and said, this is SF2, they're now supposed to be 60-foot lots. So the Old Town plat is not a controlling legal precedent, but that's why you sometimes will still see a 100-foot lot over there, because that's the way it was originally laid out from the railroad. That's who sold off the land, and that was the pieces they sold it off in. So, I mean, where you are is that, you know, you've had a staff recommendation, you can, you know, accept or deny the staff recommendation. It's council discretion on how you want to address the request.
I understand that Mr. Tillett might have feelings, but I do feel like this piece of property has I feel like it's a different situation. I'm comfortable with making a motion to approve this.
Okay,
if we do split it, it still meets, it actually exceeds the square footage. It's not 60 foot by 100, but it does exceed the square footage of SF2.
And I just want to clarify one other thing, just so we're all clear. This is only a variance on the lot width. He said that it will still have to meet your setback. So between the property line and the house, this variance isn't giving any variance for that. It's only giving for the total lot width as it waits before the BLA.
This would be the only variance you need?
Yes. Just the splitting it, all the other requirements are met on the property for the construction of the building. And just 3 houses down, we're building another one on the same 50-foot lot that is there. And we've built 2 other ones on Carter and 2 other ones on Hanning, and all of them with the 50-foot lots. And they fit perfectly with the requirements of the city. The size of the house is met, the setbacks are met, and it's better usage of the land than having land just wasted and not being used.
So we already have a motion from Sarah.
yes, we have a motion from Sarah to approve.
I'll second it.
Michael would like to second. All in favor? Everyone, anyone opposed? None opposed. Adjournment. We will now adjourn the Board of Adjustment meeting. The time is 7:42 p.m.